Oh, welcome back to the farm. Today's video we're talking about pollination. And you can see I got some strawberries going on here. And you can see a bird took a chunk of the strawberry. It happens. But why is pollination important for me as a gardener? What species do I need to worry more about? How does the plant get pollinated? These are very critical questions that you, as a gardener, will need to understand. So let me start with the first basic. Pollination is such a huge factor in our food supply that 1/3 of it can only occur by a pollinating agent. A good example is honeybees. Honeybees are the primary in use, but you have things like bumblebees, sweat bees, your native bees out here in the States that don't make honey, are more solitary. They are more interested in these plants than the honeybees. Whereas honeybees will go after peppers. This depends on what they have available versus what they're looking for. And again, you can already see I have already pollination going on. I have blackberries being formed. I have raspberries being made. But that can only occur when you have bees, butterflies. Some members of the wasp family will help pollinate. So, the next thing is understanding the two methods plants use for pollination. First one is where they depend on the pollinator to visit the flowers. Good example of that, almonds. Your members of the cucurbers family, which is our cucumbers, melons, squash, pumpkins, zucchini. They are more reliant on pollinators. Your tomatoes, they're not gonna care. They're wind driven. But bumblebees love tomatoes. Now and you see I already have a butterfly in here. Now how can I generate or attract the pollinators? Well, I find by having different flowers, such as clover, sunflowers, wildflowers, helps brings them in. Now this is where it gets real interesting to me. Depending on the species of pollinators, or the species of the pollinator that you have, you can look up to a 22S modifier. Mason bees hit the top of the list. Well, honeybees aren't as effective because they're more interested in going from flower to flower. But I always say, if you can get both, because I've seen a bumblebee and honeybees on the same plant, not even interfering. So it's always critical to be able to have pollination, have those agents in your yard. Now, you don't have to do anything special, they will come eventually. But I find if you can keep them in your yard, it makes the gardening a lot more easier in terms of getting more yield. It makes life a little more exciting, and especially if you have a young family, you can teach them about how nature works. So there's a lot more aspects to gardening than what people realize. And you can see my tomatoes already starting to flower. Now it looks like we got some pollination already happening. But my next comment on the subject, so I'm regaining my dots, is you can have honeybees and native pollinators in here because they don't really interfere. Bumblebees love tomatoes. They also love blueberries. Honeybees will go after blueberries, but in terms of pollination, the bumblebees are a lot more effective at it. So I always tell people, if you can afford to have two different systems doing the same thing, you achieve different results. You achieve better results because the two systems are firing at two different rates. But again, they will come over time. If you're more concerned about having pollinators, plant flowers that attract them, such as the clover, wildflowers, as I've said. Have an area designated for pollinators. That will ensure they will stay in the yard. Just think of it this way: if they're in your yard for longer, they're going to make less stops because they don't have to travel as far. They're going to be on the flowers for longer. It's just like having a gas station next door. You're not going to waste much time at the gas station because you're in and out. That's how I liken that system. So this has been Tulsa Urban Farmer. Thanks for joining. As always, feel free to like, sub, or comment. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.